Okay, so I'm still working on it, and let's show you what I got so far. I installed these here so there'll be a stop for the plastic, and it's about the same height, so that way I don't have a bulge or a dip when I put the other plate on top of it. And I did that for both sides. And then in here there was a hole, so I filled it up with a plate. And in here I repaired this area. I didn't like that it was sticking up, and this here will show, so I decided to cut, and using the piece that was on top I re-welded it to that same area, so now it's nice and smooth, so that when I'm doing the body work on this, it'll come out straight and not with this bump. I won't have to work with that. So that's what I did with that. And as far as the top plate, this is what I made. And so I used, let's see what gauge. The gauge I used was 26 gauge, and basically it'll go like this. Okay, and you can see why I wanted to fix that area, because that's what's going to show when I do the body work to mend these two together. And so that's basically it. But I didn't like that I had made this crease here, and I didn't like that the 26 gauge was all flimsy, because of the fact that this plastic has to be pushed down. I thought that the flimsiness of that would not work. So I went out and got some new sheet metal. I'll show you that right now. And the new sheet metal is 22 gauge, so it's nice and thick. So I remade the panel, and this steel wasn't as long, so I had to mend it together. So you can see there I welded two pieces putting it together, and I always say that the second time comes out better. You know, the second time around always is you get a better result when you have to do something over. So rather than getting the creases, I took this rounded piece of wood and I placed it behind the metal. Now this steel is harder to bend, so I had to use a vise. So basically I put the bar behind it, and using the vise to hold it nice and straight, I bend it very slowly. So I have this nice crease, one crease all the way around, all the way down, and it looks much better. So this one I think is a lot better. It's nice and sturdy, and it's going to be really good to bolt the panel. Now remember, I stated that I was going to, I had this piece here, and I was going to figure out something, put a hole. Well, I decided against that, and I cut it all out, you can see. And the new plan is, when I put this on here, you see I have a space here, and a space here, but I think I'm just going to use one, and I'm going to put one of those buttons, screws right smack in the center, and that's going to hold my shroud in place, and I think it's going to look a whole lot better. It's going to look pretty cool, red and black. I'm going to have to take this piece, and because it has rust, I need to get rid of all that rust. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dip this whole panel in my rust treatment for the weekend, and then I'm going to have to sand down all the areas that I'm going to weld, and then I can epoxy it and then go ahead with the bodywork. Well, first the bodywork and then the epoxy, and then it'll be all done. So that's basically what I'm going to have to do, but I'm happy with the way it came out. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to just bolt in just like it was supposed to. And of course this steel piece, and you can see my marks there for where it's going to be welded. It's just going to be right there like so. It's going to look pretty sweet in red. So I've been working on this all day, and I'm going to put it in my acid solution, and I'll continue when it's all ready. Well, here it is, taking a bath in my acid solution, and it's going to be left in here for a while, probably the whole weekend, and I'll check on it every once in a while. And I can't get the whole thing to lay down, so I'm going to just leave it at an angle, and then tomorrow I'll turn it around so that this side here will be submerged, and it'll get all cleaned up. It'll be like new again, ready to get the other half attached. So here's the piece. It's 24 hours later, a little bit over 24 hours, and let's see how it came out. I'm trying to do this with one hand and hold the camera at the same time, so bear with me. Let's see, I'm going to just, as in all the previous times that I've used this, the E-coating or whatever coating is on the panel gets removed the longer this panel stays in the solution. And let me pull it out so that you guys can see how clean it's getting. You can see how clean it's getting. See what the other side looks like. Let's see. Now the other side was completely submerged, more than the underside, because it was in the solution. And you can see the paint coming off, or the E-coating, or whatever it is. You can see right there some of it. So anyway, it's coming out really clean. Let's check over here. So let's get a view of it. So it's coming out really nice. So I'm definitely going to leave it in there a little longer, and I'm going to give it a nice thorough cleaning. Here's the other side. Give it a nice thorough cleaning with some high pressure water, and then I'll probably just put it back in the solution for another day or two, so that it'll come out really nice and clean, ready for the paint.